Good afternoon, everybody. It's Cam. Let's talk some stocks for today, February 23rd. It's about 1:08, so 8 minutes after the close, and it was a pretty ridiculous day in the market. So big sell-off in the futures pre-market, and from really last night about midnight, Bitcoin dropped as well last night. Set some recent lows, big drop in the morning, and then the Fed Treasury Secretary Powell spoke this morning from 7 a.m. to about 9:30, and the market reversed. So the main indices, besides Nasdaq, all finished green barely, and the Nasdaq was barely red. So quite a huge reversal. So if we go into the charts right here, so this is SPY, S&P 500 ETF. So it just went back, so you can see basically the recent low, 3CX 68.25, up to the high that's in during normal market hours, not the pre-market high. And you'll see that basically this morning here on the hourly, massive volume, right? So we had the high volume yesterday right into the close, 16 million, right on the open, 16 million. The next hour, 17 million, so a ton of volume today. But market tanked on the open, buyers came in, propped it higher, and then we basically consolidated, in here till about 9:30 when Powell's speech ended, and then the market just took off up higher for the second half of the day. You can kind of see here about 10:45 we crossed over the moving averages and then held it, and then basically moved up all afternoon, and then a slight sell-off here the last half an hour. Probably taking some profits. Didn't really like this 78.6 fib drawn off that from the recent high, recent low. So big pullback, bought it all up. Fed came in, basically said, hey, we're going to be okay. Inflation is not going to be a problem. Really, I guess, eased investors' tensions. But I think if we look at this just long term, even here still on the hourly chart, right, we're getting this huge, like, inverted cup, right? So basically, I don't know, it looks like a bubble. I guess that's the first thing that came to my head. But, bubble as market-wise, but this huge rounding top, and usually the rounding top means we could go lower. And then also on the hourly, didn't cross over this 200 EMA, so that could be a still bearish sign if we go to the daily here, right? So pretty big wick, touched right off the 9, and now we're closing back in between, basically in the range we were yesterday, between the 22 and the 9. So look to see if we can break either the 9 or the 22 moving forward. Let's jump to Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin, basically, so this was the first drop pre-market. This was basically around like 3 a.m. This is right around the market open, about 6 a.m. Took off in the morning. Got 49.5 and then retested 49.3 again, but couldn't break it, sold off, touched back down below into the 45K. Now we're looking to go higher again, so we could stay in this range for a little while and consolidate, and we'll see that with the crypto stocks that we'll be looking at. But first we're going to look at the electric vehicle market here. Just the sector as a whole was pretty crazy today. Tesla selling off really hard, following Bitcoin pretty tightly. A lot of I think it was Wedbush actually said that Tesla and the Bitcoin price now is essentially directly correlated, like a very high correlation score. But you see, just like the market as a whole, big sell-off on the open on all these electric vehicle stocks. So Tesla, NIO, Li, XPEV. I have CCIV over here. They're kind of the oddball for today with their merger news from yesterday, but even they got the spike in the morning, kind of rolled over in the afternoon though. Still downward pressure. But on Tesla, NIO, Li, and XPEV, you sell off, spike, and then you got this cupping action here in the afternoon, and different stocks had different strength. Like XPEV broke out of this low 36 area, pushed way higher up into 38, still moving up after hours. Li, cupping action, not as strong in the second half. And then Tesla, we'll talk about the spike here at the 12 o'clock hour in a second, but they got some news kind of directly relating to a battery maker that they use, Microvast, basically joining a SPAC, so we'll look at that in a second. And then NIO, very similar chart pattern. So these four, are basically tied to each other with the Chinese market. And then a big drop in the electric vehicle market was Workhorse. They also had news come out right at noon today, but you'll see here on the daily, just massive red candle, high volume, 70 million, touched all the way down to a low of 12.5, bounced later after it halted basically the whole last hour of the day. But they had news that they did not receive the main USPS contract to basically revolutionize their fleet to electric vehicles. So all your postal carriers becoming electric. It went to Oshkosh, which was someone they considered like a partner, I guess, for the deal, but they didn't get it. And that's basically like the main thesis for Workhorse as a company, was that they were going to get this deal, and that's basically signified their market valuation. And obviously sell off, more than 50% off this news and rebound slightly, but not good news ahead for Workhorse. If you own the stock, hopefully you bought it before or below $16, but it has been above $16 for a while now, because this even previously, this deal was originally announced to come out in September, but it didn't, thanks to government for being slow. But so definitely below. So hopefully you had an exit strategy, maybe you had stop loss or whatnot, or maybe you still believe in the company. That's all up to you, the individual investor. I can't give any advice on that. I don't own the stock. But Ride, Lordstown Motors, which I've been getting a couple questions in the comments about, it actually followed Workhorse, because apparently they also had a bid for the contract but didn't get. And then there's other articles saying that it's kind of a good thing that they didn't get it, because it would distract from their truck fleet and divert resources that they had. But it also had to sell off right at the 12 o'clock hour for about 15 minutes, and then consolidated down here in the low 19s. And in that comment, I got asked what I thought would happen to Ride today, as well as, like, first off, it has to hold this 2061 fib, but it sold off lower. I said it would hit somewhere down the 18s, which is like the next fib level. If you zoom out right here, right? So it's a blue mark, but that's from a previous high. But didn't really get anywhere close to that. But there is a lot of volume in the $18 range. Got that spike of, held that 20. I don't know, that was a weird zoom right there. What the heck? But did come back, retest this $20 area, and then pushed higher. But then the new catalyst sent it lower. So this is going to be downtrending, I think, now for a while if you go out to the daily, right? So we're hopefully looking to hold this 200-day moving average going forward. And then let's look at the crypto stocks real quick. So they somewhat have similar charts again, right? And then we'll just switch this one tomorrow, which is one I haven't talked about, but still similar place. So obviously moved down lower with Bitcoin, and then we kind of have similar charts all over. So first bar of the day, red bar. So excuse me, these are 50-minute charts. So first bar of the day, big red bar down, goes back up with the markets, and then different strength throughout the day. So Canaan, which had been the one that's been the big mover percentage-wise up and down. So yesterday was the biggest loser out of the group. Had the biggest swing here, so from 15 all the way up to 19. So that's almost, what, 27% swing right there. Here we have EBON, even a big swing too, 6, 7.25, 7.3 area, so about a 25% move as well. So you did have a big bounce if you time this bounce well. I know on the 15, right? So you got one signal for EBON here and Canaan where the RSI crossed over, so people could use that as an entry first thing in the morning if that was something that they watch and an indicator that they use. But kind of trending down as Bitcoin trended down all day, and now after our hours, at least Riot's kind of picking up a little bit. Same Riot, SOS Can, and Mara. I guess Ebang is the laggard right now, but Bitcoin now just crossed 48K, so could be looking to move higher. And then the other basic movers for the day, so CCL, which they did do their offering, $1 billion offering after hours yesterday. So if we can zoom out, we'll see that. So just from the price of yesterday, so after hours sent it lower, drops on the market, and then had the strength all of the day. It was one of the few stocks that was green on my watch list over here on the left. These tech ones went green later in the day, and we'll talk about Snap as it had an investors conference, but strength ended up green. So let's see if we can get over this 2670 area. I'd like to go retest this 2733 going in the week. AMC was a big, green spot all day, up all day, basically, besides this, first 30-minute drop with the market. And it looks like we're dropping here after hours too. I mentioned it in the beginning, or my first video this morning, about the strike price of the options, $6 and $6.50. So I'm sure there was a ton loaded at 7, maybe at 7.5. So those might have hit strike too. So this could be a mover for the rest of the week if there is enough popular interest from the retail traders. Maybe the Wall Street bets guys prop this thing up again going into the week. Maybe they finally get that gamma squeeze. And then lastly, we'll look at Snap. So Snap hit new all-time highs today, right at the end of the day. So they had a investors conference basically talking about their revenue and their outlook going forward. So you can look, if you have TD Ameritrade, you can click on one of these links or Market Watch, and they'll bring you up to their investor presentation. But their ad revenue is the big driver. Looks like they're just going to basically take over in that space. Them but getting into some of Facebook's and Google's revenue streams there, and their user base has been growing too from their earnings report. But definitely been on a tear, right? So $7 and low. Now it's 9 times your money. This earnings back in October had a gap, and it's been a steady upstream here. So big sell-off ticker this morning, just like with the market. But the investor, sent it up to new high. So this could have, some crazy strength, as it was up 11% as the overall market was basically sideways at the end of the day. So this could be a big watch for the rest of the week if this is a blue chip stock you like, or just a pure momentum play, as it is the big mover in the larger tech space. So those are the stocks I was watching today. Didn't make many plays today. Didn't really time any on that bottom bounce rise. And so I kind of stayed on the sidelines because I thought today would be more of a red day sell-off. I wasn't expecting, the classic buy the dip, Papa Powell pump. So I didn't do much today. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching the videos. If you've made it this far, if you could hit me with a like and subscribe, be greatly appreciated. If you got anything from me in the comments, if you would like me to look at any stocks, please let me know. I'll do the best I can. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.